Two guys, same parking lot, same trade, same paycheck for decades. But one of them gets to stop early, and the other one keeps clocking in because life never gave him a clean exit. And the wild part? The difference usually isn't some massive lottery win or a dumb disaster. It's a bunch of ordinary purchases that feel harmless in the moment and quietly drain you for years. I'm William, and today I want to show you the everyday buys that can wreck your money without ever looking like a big mistake. And yeah, by the end, I want you thinking about your own spending a little differently. Because a lot of people don't go broke by doing one huge thing wrong. They do 8 small things right out in the open. Let's start with the stuff that gets sold to you as smart. First up, extended warranties. You're at the register. The screen is already prompting you, and somebody asks if you want to protect your purchase. It feels responsible. It feels grown up. But most of the time, what you're really buying is a bad bet dressed up like caution. On a lot of these plans, only about 20 to 40 cents of every dollar ever comes back to customers in repairs. The rest? That's profit. And the really annoying part is how often the protection costs more than it's worth. A warranty on a laptop, a TV, or a kitchen appliance can end up eating a huge chunk of the item's value. In some stores, the warranty is actually where the money is. The product on the shelf is almost the bait. The add-on is the real business. Now, to be fair, if a major repair would absolutely wreck your finances, I get why someone buys certainty. That's not stupidity, that's survival. But you need to know what's happening. You're not beating risk. You're renting peace of mind at a markup. Second, subscriptions you forgot you had. This one is sneaky because it doesn't feel like spending. It feels like nothing. $6 here, $12 there, maybe a trial you meant to cancel and never did.
Then a few months later, you check your statement and realize you've been funding a small media empire. And that's the trick. The companies behind these services know you're busy. They know you'll get tired halfway through cancellation. They know you'll think, I'll do it later. That one sentence has probably cost you more money than you think. Most people badly underestimate what they're paying on subscriptions. They'll guess a little over $100 a month and be off by a lot. And the worst part is how easy it is to keep bleeding money on services you barely use. Not because you're careless, but because each charge is small enough to ignore individually. So here's the move. Check your bank app like an auditor, not a customer. If you haven't used it in months, why is it still taking your money? Third, overdraft fees. This one is brutal because it hits when you're already short. You're not making a luxury purchase. You're just getting dinged for being a little out of sync. One bad timing issue, one bill that lands too early, one grocery run that pushes you over, and suddenly you're paying a fee that makes the problem worse. A $35 overdraft fee on a $20 shortfall is basically an expensive little loan. And if you repeat that pattern a few times, it becomes absurdly costly. Banks make a ton of money from this because, well, enough people get caught in it. That's not an accident. And no, this isn't about blaming someone for being broke. It's about understanding that your bank is not being charitable when it covers you. It's collecting. So if you can, turn off overdraft protection, use alerts, or keep a tiny buffer in the account you spend from most often. That one adjustment can save you a ridiculous amount over time. Fourth, lottery tickets. I'm not here to lecture you like you're a child. People buy lottery tickets because hope is cheap and life is expensive. I get it. But let's be honest about what it is. It's not an investment. It's not a strategy. It's a tiny tax on optimism. You spend a little here and there thinking, what if this is the one? And that's exactly why it works as a business. The odds are awful. The payout rate is bad. And the people spending the most on it are usually the ones with the least room to lose. That's the uncomfortable truth. A state lottery might look harmless, but over time it pulls real money out of households that can least afford the leak. If you enjoy the occasional ticket, fine, but don't confuse entertainment with building wealth. Those are not the same thing, not even close. Fifth, credit card interest. This one is the killer because it's invisible until it isn't. You buy something, life gets messy, and suddenly you're carrying a balance at a rate that makes almost no sense if you stop and stare at it long enough. Credit card interest is one of the most expensive ways to borrow money. A balance at around 20% can sit there for years if you only make minimum payments. And that minimum payment, that's not really a payoff plan. That's just the issuer making sure you stay in the game long enough for them to keep collecting. That's the trap. You think you're managing the debt, but the debt is managing your timeline. And if you've ever looked at a statement and wondered how the balance barely moved, now you know why. Interest is designed to linger. It's not trying to disappear, it's trying to outlast your patience. Sixth, sports betting. This one exploded because the apps made it feel like a hobby instead of a financial decision. It's on your phone, it's easy, it's fast, and it always feels like the next bet could fix the last one. That's how they get people. Not with one giant mistake, but with repetition. And the data is ugly. As betting has spread, household investing has gone down by more than the amount people are wagering. That's the part nobody likes to talk about. The money doesn't just vanish from your app. It comes out of your future. Less savings, less investing.
More card balances, more overdrafts, more stress. And the weirdest part, a lot of people convince themselves it's basically entertainment or that they're just about even. But if your entertainment has a cash out button and a loss history, it's not a game anymore. It's a leak with confetti on top. Seventh, high fees inside your investments. This is the one most people never feel, which is exactly why it's so dangerous. You don't see it leave your checking account. You don't get a dramatic bill. It just quietly trims your future every single year. A 1% fee doesn't sound like much until you run the math over decades. Then it turns into a huge amount of money. That's the thing people miss. Fees compound too, not just gains. The drag compounds. The money you lose to fees never gets the chance to grow for you later. And if you're in a smaller retirement plan or paying more than you should for investment management, you may be bleeding far more than you realize. The difference between low-cost and high-cost investing can be enormous over time. Now, to be fair, good advice can be worth paying for. If somebody is helping you avoid panic selling at the worst possible moment, that can absolutely justify a fee. But if you're paying premium prices for a portfolio nobody is actually managing with care, that's a problem. And while we're here, there's another one people should be suspicious of. The shiny insurance product sold by someone who benefits most when you say yes. A lot of those plans are built around commissions, not your long-term outcome. Eighth, your car. This is the big one because it feels normal. It feels necessary. It feels like adulthood. But the average new car payment is now absurdly high, and a lot of people are stretching loans out to 7 years just to make the monthly number look manageable. That's how people end up financing a fast depreciating object for half their financial life. And the really nasty part is negative equity. You still owe money on a car that's already worth less than the loan. So when you trade it in, you roll the problem into the next car and repeat the cycle. It's not just a car payment anymore, it's a debt carousel. Depreciation by itself isn't the enemy. Cars lose value, that's just reality. The trap is paying too much, too long on something that keeps shrinking while you're still making payments on it. If you buy used, especially a few years old, you can dodge a huge chunk of that hit. And over time, that difference is massive. Now, let's zoom out, because this is where people usually miss the point. These aren't 8 random bad habits. They're 8 ordinary yeses. A warranty, a subscription, an overdraft, a ticket, interest, a bet, a fee, a car payment. None of them feel catastrophic on their own. That's why they work so well. The system doesn't need you to make one insane financial decision. It just needs you to keep saying yes to small things that look normal. And if you're sitting there thinking, okay, William, but I'm not buying all of these. Good. You don't have to be. You only need a few of them to create a serious drag on your money. That's why the fix is not some dramatic personality overhaul. It's attention. Check the warranty box before you blindly say yes. Review your subscriptions like they're stealing from you, because sometimes they are. Keep a buffer so one overdraft doesn't snowball. Treat lottery tickets as entertainment, not hope in a wrapper. Don't let credit card interest become your second rent payment. Be suspicious of betting apps that promise easy wins. Look at your investment fees in actual dollars, not just percentages. And don't let the car you drive become the thing that quietly blocks your future. None of that requires making more money tomorrow. It just requires stopping the leaks today. And that's the real game here. Not perfection, not guilt, just fewer automatic yeses. Because the difference between the person who gets to stop working when they want and the person who can't isn't usually one huge event. It's the stack of everyday purchases they kept making without realizing what they were buying. So if you're going to waste money anywhere, at least don't waste it on the stuff that was designed to waste it for you.